Final Clause of Tacitus, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. It is an absolute pleasure. So let's start this off really simply, and we're going to go around the room, as it were, starting with Andrew, we'll go to James, and then we'll go to Tom as well. So nobody's speaking over each other. How are you doing at the moment?
Good. Living life, happy, playing bass. It's all good.
Perfect.
Yep.
What can I say?
Definitely, absolutely enjoying the weather right now compared to what we've had over the past few months. The summer always makes life a lot easier. But yeah, it's just from my side, all good. Practicing every second that I can in and around the kids and lifestyle. So yeah, just can't wait to actually get on stage again. It's been too long for us.
Yeah, I'm great. I mowed the lawn earlier in the week, and I cleaned the house yesterday. So I'm pretty good.
We'll roll it into the next one then. Aside from the recent release and general the Final Clause of Tacitus stuff, what's been keeping you busy recently?
Work.
There it is.
Basically,
There it is.
life duties until we get, to a point where we don't have to work and we can play music all day. I'm still working on that topic. So that's my aim.
I definitely I second that. Yeah, work is a major priority. Obviously, at the moment, everybody seems to be going crazy in my industry for software. So yeah, it's a bit full on at the moment. But I'm going on holiday soon, so I'm just going to rub that in. So I'm looking forward to that. Just two more weeks, and I'm out of it.
Where are you going, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm off to a lovely little island in Greece called Kefalonia. Back to basics. Amazing
Kefalonia. It sounds like that it's a made-up island, doesn't it? Kefalonia.
Yeah, it does a bit. I'm not actually quite sure on the pronunciation because obviously the Greek word for it is not obviously Kefalonia, but still,
pretty Greek.
It's an amazing place. Absolutely amazing. Can't wait.
Oh, great.
I just hear Assassin's Creed when you say that. Just say that.
Yeah.
Geek.
I barely work. So I'm on my summer holidays at the moment. I do a little bit of tuition here and there. So I have been doing nothing. It's been great. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, no, I've been doing stuff. I mowed the grass earlier in the week.
Yep.
I cleaned the house yesterday. I'm keeping busy.
That's all I want to hear. You've been keeping busy, and with over half the year out of the way, are you satisfied with what you, as a group, the band, have been able to achieve this year so far?
Yeah, for me, yeah, I think we've done quite a lot already this year. I feel like we've jam-packed a year in 6 months.
Oh, nice.
We've been away on tour. We've played some amazing shows in the UK. Europe was fantastic. So many stories, so many adventures. It's been amazing. I mean, this whole year for us so far has just been, and then actually, we haven't done anything for a little while because we're just recovering from the last 6 months of what we've been doing.
It has been full on, actually, hasn't it? I've been trying to think of what we've done, but it's just because I've got a terrible memory. But yeah, we did it. We've done loads, haven't we? Actually, and we're really pleased with the new release as well. It's getting lots of good reviews, which is really nice because when you get the bad ones, it really sucks. So it's been a good year so far. It's been nice to have a couple of weeks off, really.
Yeah, like you said, we did pack a hell of a lot in the first 3-4 months of the year, maybe 5 months of the year. Lots of great shows. We played some really good gigs in the UK. With some really cool bands, and obviously with Europe and all the rest of that, I still go through pictures trying to remember what we did on days because it was just crazy. It was just like story after story, site after site. I mean, one of my big things that I keep saying to my kids was Austria, going through Austria and just like seeing the sights and like the mountains and the little villages and meeting the random people that we bumped into along the way, especially in Fledbach. Which is a place that we played. That was an interesting venue. The owner and his lovely daughter, they were really
the Austrians are turning in their grave at your pronunciation of that, especially because you got the E and the L the wrong way back around. But
I'm not expected to be corrected by anybody else apart from you, Tom.
I remember them correcting you while we were there as well. So
Hey, it is what it is. You have to live with it.
Well, considering all of that, then give me your individual highlight of 2023 so far.
me falling off an e-scooter and busting my leg halfway through the tour.
How is that the highlight?
That was
that just says
memory.
terrible things for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the highlight of my year was when I got sepsis in my leg.
Oh, wow.
I don't think you actually got sepsis, but it was it was pretty awful, wasn't
I
it?
did have a sympathetic band who pointed.
Why is that your highlight?
That was going to be mine.
Yeah.
You can't say that. Just turning around on these random e-scooters. And I've never been on one before, and it was really, really cool, really great experience, as sad as it sounds. But just turning around and just seeing Andy just going from this to that for what no reason whatsoever.
You were static. You weren't even moving, Andy.
No.
I know. Okay, right. The real highlight so far in the band was playing in Bristol, the Fleece, for 500 plus people. Amazing show.
Yeah,
that was a good show.
I think it'd be hard. It'd be hard to think up something different to that. Really, it was overwhelmingly the most positive band experience this year. I think, wasn't it? I think for me, maybe finishing the production. I record it and produce it here in my studio. Finishing the EP, because it takes over your life. Doing it, especially when you have to work with him, and the other guy's not here, and everyone has their opinions, which all say, "Oh, I think the cymbals are a bit too loud," and the other one says, "Oh, I think the cymbals are a bit too quiet," and you just go, "Oh, okay, so I'll make them louder and quieter at the same time."
I'm just ignoring his own thing.
Yes, thank you. This has turned into my therapy session, by the way, so I appreciate that. Yeah, I think finishing that was really. That had the biggest positive effect on my life, because it weighs you down. It's one of those things, and then when you're done, the weight lifts off your shoulders and you can just sort of breathe again. Even though that gig at the Fleece was fantastic, that was an up on top of an already good up.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
I think for me, when we were on tour, one of the nicer days I think that we had together as a band was like our day off or the night off that we had during halfway stop off. We were in Nuremberg, I think it was.
Oh, yeah, Nuremberg's an amazing city.
Absolutely amazing. Again, sort of not having that kind of pressure and traveling and being able to set up and then rehearse. Well, not rehearse, but get ready for a show. It was just a night off. And it was just generally one of those occasions where we just dumped our stuff in the hotel. We went out, we got some food. We went for drinks,
we ate a lot of sausages.
Yeah, we did eat a lot of sausages.
Nuremberg speciality sausages.
Yeah.
Like, we went to this place. We went to this place, and you basically just said how many sausages you want, and they just chuck a load of like sauerkraut or pretzel on it. And I think we must have ordered, between the four of us, something along the lines of about 48 sausages. They're only little chipolatas type things. They weren't like these giant foot-long things. I mean, we weren't gluttonous pigs, but yeah, that was great.
It must have been more than that. It must have been about 60 if not that, because it was about 12 on each plate or something like that. It was a crazy amount of sausage. Yeah.
And so what's 12 times? What's 12 times 4? Joe?
Don't get me on maths, Tom. Stop.
Yeah.
He's in Germany.
Drummers only count to 4. Anything beyond that, and, the maths is just is beyond them.
Exactly. I've learned to count to 8. Come on, give me that.
Oh, what, double time?
Yes, exactly.
So bringing it around to band stuff, to be honest, the whole European tour was fantastic. Meeting every new people from Europe. People, you're going into a venue, no one knows you, gives you this weird sort of side-eye look and who they are, the English are here sort of thing. But then after you play, completely turned around, great night. Just that was good for us, and sort of meeting new people, and for me anyway, that whole tour.
So you did feel like you came away having gained a lot of new fans?
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of new fans, a lot of people listening on Spotify. We noticed those things going up as well.
Yeah.
So it was all positive things.
Well, of course,
Yeah,
the EP.
yeah.
Go on, sorry.
No, I was probably only going to add something that wasn't worth adding, so you carry on.
Well, of course, we haven't actually said the title of the new EP. It is The Oxygen Is Killing You. It's been out almost a month now, yet June 23rd, and it is July 21st, I believe, today.
Yeah.
Guys, congratulations on that. It's an incredibly creative listen. Creativity seems to exist within your soul. So, talk to me about the vision you had for this EP. Did you know exactly what you wanted it to be when you first started working it?
When we started working it, we wanted it to be, well, first and foremost, to capture the live performance that we do. We've never been able to really nail that down. We're so much different live than on all of our previously recorded stuff. It's never been able to capture the energy. So I think the first task was to capture that, which we kind of feel we did. It just sounds like I feel like it sounds like people are playing. I don't like, you listen to a lot of modern music and it's so polished, you just don't feel like anyone's actually behind the instruments. And don't get me wrong, it sounds great. Like Bring Me the Horizon, for example, all of their stuff sounds fantastic, but I mean, I just can't picture anybody actually giving it grit behind any of those instruments. And it's horses for courses, people like it, and that's great, but we wanted to have this sort of more old-fashioned, energetic, visceral kind of listening experience. And I think we wanted to try something a bit different. So Matt, for example, I think was the main influence on the style of it. So he wanted a bit more Limp Bizkit or Linkin Park feel, that kind of bits into it, added into it. So I think we had a good idea of what we were wanting to achieve when we set out for it, but I don't think we realized it was going to be, it was going to be what it was, which is, I think, better than we imagined it probably would be, which is saying something, because I think we always imagine our music's going to be fantastic. Every musician does, and then you sort of get the end product and you just go, that's kind of worked out weirdly well, and I don't really know why either. No, it's just got that weird invisible thing that you just can't put your finger on, but it just seemed to really resonate with all of us.
I think one of the, if memory serves me right, and I could be wrong, and probably Tom's going to correct me on this, I think one of the premises is what we, like you said, where that Limp Bizkit, Linkin Park kind of style was like a kind of almost like a homage to like the 90s era with that kind of music. So again, with like the DJ scratching that we have in one of the tracks and some other bits and pieces like samples and speaking and breaking the song up and then going back into it. Again, you know, we all kind of like stem from like the Beastie Boys and all the rest of it. So it was kind of, we wanted to incorporate, it was kind of like, I guess it was kind of like a balance between what we all really liked and what we could have in a track, but without going over the top like some bands do, and it becomes a bit of a mishmash. So I love the final product of the tracks that we've got. There's some tracks that we had in the background that didn't quite make it into the mix itself, but there's still loads of things that we're battling around with. So
that's a different story as well, though, isn't it? We were doing a full album, and then I basically, doing the whole EP, my mental state just plummeted. I was just like, no, we're doing an EP. We're doing 6 songs. We're going to pick the 6 best songs, or 5 best songs, actually, it was in the end. And we just ran with those instead, which I'm pleased we did, because, but we do, it was very much a throwback to the 90s, which we've always been. I think sometimes we're embracing it more and more each year, and it seems to work. I think it helps that I don't actually listen to music. Like I say, I think we were just chatting earlier, and I don't listen to anybody's music. So it kind of frees me to create whatever it is that gets created. I feel I don't get influenced so much. Someone will play me a song maybe, and I'll go, oh, that's an interesting idea. But then I've got the freedom to explore it without any little things at the back of my mind saying, oh, but it sounds like this, or you should make it sound like this. So which is
I actually, yeah, I was going to say, actually saying that, it reminded me a couple of days ago, I was flicking through social media. I can't remember what it was, but it's all the reels and that. And I came across this this little reel of Linkin Park. And apparently it was a story about Chester and how he would listen to loads of different music. And then he'll write a song and he'll go in the studio and goes, oh, I've written this song. And then you'll start promoting it and pitching it to the rest of the band. And the rest of the band will be like, oh, hang on, that's like AC/DC or Van Halen or something like that. And then it'll be like, right, okay, let's take this song and how do we kind of make it our own? So it's kind of nice and refreshing for Tom's perspective, which I respect, is the fact that if you don't really listen to stuff, the stuff that you really come up with is more your own rather than something that you've kind of taken from other people, which again, it kind of lets me down with music, especially with like dance music and stuff nowadays, where they're just recycling old stuff. Don't get me wrong, I respect the process that they go through to do that, but I've always been a big fan of originality. You know, do something for a fresh, get that attention, create something new, rather than just regurgitating something that's happened in the past. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but that's just my personal opinion.
You want to add anything there, Andrew?
No, I think Tom kind of explained most of it. What we tried to do about this album, actually, just kind of this EP. So to be honest, it just kind of works really well when we started to put stuff together. Everyone's on the same wavelength when we're sort of writing music. Tom comes up with the initial ideas, and we kind of add our bits to it, and it just really clicks, and it just works. And that's one thing about us is just we're kind of all kind of glued together quite well in a nice scene. And the tracks that you can hear now is what we get out, you know, so it all kind of works nicely. There's no stresses.
Right, you, mate.
I'm going to pick you up on that, and you can start answering this one then, because ultimately it is a long process and it can be a trying process. There will be bumps in the road and there will be challenges. So give me an example of one of the challenges you particularly faced on making this EP, whatever phase, be it the writing, recording, etc., and what you did to overcome it.
I hit a couple of walls in creativity. So like Andy says, I'll get a bass idea put together. But if I don't get that, then it sort of the whole process grinds to a halt. And that's a building pressure. It's a downward spiral. The pressure to write something new for everybody to then take away and do what they all do makes it harder to write something new, and then you sort of get this downward spiral. They call it hitting the wall or something like that, and that for me was the hardest part, trying to get past that. I always do, and I think in future, I think the problem was we're doing a sort of a couple of songs at a time, and then we're getting a couple of songs and they were going, and then I'd have to start mixing them whilst coming up with some more ideas. And I think in future, the learning point here was I'm just going to keep it all to myself until I've got about an entire album's worth of stuff to send out in one go, because then everyone will just be, then I don't have to worry about it. I'll just do it all. But yeah, that for me was the hardest part.
I think also we overcome some things by jamming in the studio on the odd occasion. You know, we do come up with, we don't do it as much now because we've been quite busy with gigging and releasing things and stuff like that. So I think the last time we really did it was probably beginning of the year or even end of last year kind of time. But we do come up with interesting riffs together on the odd occasion, and Tom kind of runs with those sort of things sometimes and adapts it and modifies it. A bit of inspiration in that side in the studio.
Yeah, I mean, prime example for one of the tracks that was born in the studio before the whole process started was Create Disasters. That was just us three in the studio. I think Matt had popped out to do whatever it was that he was doing, or he was running late. And we just literally, I think either Tom started a riff and then Andy got on the bass, probably playing the fifth note rather than the second note. I'm not quite sure what he was doing wrong.
Undoubtedly something.
You guys,
yeah, Undoubtedly something, but yeah, that whole song. So the whole breakdown between sort of like the pre-choruses and all the rest of it. We got the rolling hi-hats, all of that again was just born from the studio, just playing around and just messing. So by the time Matt had like come in, we were like playing this song, and luckily enough, whenever you're in the studio nowadays, we've got mobile phones with decent audio and really nice cameras, so we were able to capture that. And I think that was on like my phone for about 3-4 months before anything was really done with it. So again, it was kind of good to have that kind of jamming session like we normally do and play around with riffs and have that kind of ability to record it and keep it in the bank somewhere later on. So
we also have Matt, who probably comes along with a lot of voice chats with riffs coming out of his mouth.
My word.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's an experience, isn't it?
So,
and you can tell he's just out walking the dog.
Yeah,
well.
exactly.
And because he's doing it quietly, just in case anyone's around the corner as well. And
I love that though.
So I want a song that sounds like this. So funny.
And then Tom was like, "What?"
Oh yeah, great. That's it. Perfect. I'll just put that on the software and we're done.
I really want you to eventually just put all those recordings into a track somewhere.
That's a very good idea.
Should put it at the end.
And also, we'll plan it now while Matt isn't here.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll be a wonderful surprise. One day we'll just release it up on socials.
I love that. I love that. That's the fun stuff that you kind of get to hear about when we're talking like this and focusing on that, because we've kind of just talked about challenges and all that, but ultimately there's a lot of fun and enjoyment that can come from this process too. So I also want you to give me an example of something that you found particularly fun, interesting, exciting about working on this release.
For me, we orientated quite a few songs around wanting to have interesting noises and samples and stuff. So for me, Matt would just one evening, it'd be what he would like to do, sit down in front of the TV and he would just save and find lots of weird noises and samples and all sorts of crazy stuff, and he would just put them in the file, and I'll sit there and I'll go through all of these noises and sounds and go, oh, that's cool, we could do something like that, this is interesting, let's do something like that. And there's another one as well, actually, on the title track, The Oxygen Is Killing You. It starts out with just a big like almost like a cinematic, like you're watching Transformers or something. And yeah, I like to create all of my sounds, a lot of my sounds myself. Some of them, like the scratching stuff that we got on, I don't have decks, I can't make those sounds, but a lot of the sounds I create myself in a sort of studio audio design way, and creating that massive note was great fun. I think there's something ridiculous like 20 different instruments all in that one sound, mashed together, compressed, just like saturate everything. It's like it was nuts. I really enjoy the process of making up all these weird and wonderful things that you hear in it.
And I love that in the Oxygen, that part, because we kick off our set with that song, and just when you've got the in-ears, and we program our strobe lights, everything to the click track, so everything's all programmed. And when you've got that song and you just hear it coming in, just really abruptly,
it shuts everyone up, doesn't it? If everyone's talking,
yeah, and everyone's like, what the hell's going on? Obviously the bass cannons are going on stage, and then that's it, you know, the time sequence is coming in, and it just kind of sets you in that mood, and you're just waiting for that last hit. Then this vocal comes in, and then it's like bang, it's like, yes, game on time, guys. And it's just amazing, because then you see the stage, all four of us just light up, and we're just on it. It's just, I miss it. Where's the next gig, guys? Come on.
One thing I did for this EP was I worked out to do lighting and backing tracks, because we use a backing track for our in-ears and so we get the click and everything else through. The reason we need that is because we want to have a bigger sound, we want to do different layers, we want to be able to enhance the live performance. So we put the laptop together, and I've worked out how to do lighting with the laptop now, and it's all sequenced out nicely. So having that because it was so much drama trying to get it working to start with. I suppose all lighting engineers have the same thing. Once it clicks, it starts working. You're like, yes, it's working. Then I could start playing around with things. So eventually, before we went on tour, I was stressing trying to get this working, and we managed to get it working. We've done a few shows of it. Everyone was working so nicely. And yeah, it really, really boosts our sound. We have a couple of strobe lights, a couple of wall lights, and that's what adjacent to whatever the stage has got. It just really impacts because you get the hits, the strobes hitting at the right times. It just really enhances our live set. I'm really proud of that. Really, all that drama we had.
It puts everything up to the next level, doesn't it? I mean, it's a professional setup now, isn't it? Like, it's something that people expect to see from whoever, any big band they go to see at any big venue. We can bring that to any venue now, which is really nice.
You're learning, you're expanding, you're refining who and what you are, not just on record, but also in a live environment. It comes with experience and time and money.
Yeah.
Bloody money.
I don't want to talk about
that. So one track from this EP that you think is a great example or would define the Final Clause of Tacitus in general. So someone who's never heard of you before comes along and says, I've only got time to hear one track, just one track from this EP. It doesn't even necessarily have to be your favorite or the one that you think is the best, but one that you think sums up you as best as possible on this EP. What would you choose?
Create disasters. Everyone makes mistakes. I create disasters. That's the one to listen to. The Oxygen is Killing You is a great song. But because of the long introduction, it's not quite as indicative for our stuff. It makes it, that's an epic introduction, and you'd think that we'd be much more sort of post-metal or I don't know, anything than what we are. When it kicks in, it's fine. But I think Create Disasters is the one that just hits hard, like it kicks like a bucking mule straight from the get-go.
But
that's what we're all about.
I do like You Know You Are. That is a good track. That's a good track.
You Know You Are. Is it? Which one's that?
I knew you'd say that. That's why I thought I'd catch you out. I know you would say that. What am I?
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, that one.
How many hours did you spend on this, Tom?
Well, the problem is, I guess, the name's changed.
Yeah.
As the process. So
But admittedly, I worked on all of the sound of these things, and the titles sort of came towards the very end. I have a very difficult time matching up songs to titles a lot of the time.
I have the same trouble.
Yeah.
How about you, Andrew?
Just go by intros.
Yeah, we know what Jay does. As soon as the intro hits, we go, "Oh, that's the song we're playing," and then
it's in. Yeah, as soon as you hear the right part of the bit of the music, you immediately know what's going to happen for the rest of the song. But when someone says, "Oh, we're going to play this song," and go, "Oh yeah, okay," it'll kick out. Oh yeah, this one. Yeah,
that's what we know our tracks.
The titles of our own tracks properly, but but no. I think it's just how people think differently, though, don't they? I don't associate a song to a set of words, which is the title. I associate the song with the sound of what it is. So if you go the one that goes bam bam beep 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 beep, that one, oh yeah, I know that one. But you call that that's the Oxygen. Yeah, I find it difficult to link it up. It's just how my brain works, or doesn't work. It's probably a more.
Tom is a secret genius, by the way. So he is. So, and he's got a weird way of thinking. So.
Me is that.
Well, I want to come back to something that you mentioned. You actually brought up there, Tom, because I think it's super important when it comes to Final Clause of Tacitus, and the word is undefinable. An undefinable band, when we love, and we sometimes need to, place things into genres. Where do you fit? How do you sound? How do I compare you to? But it is not easy with you guys. The question I've got for you is, do you care? Do you care that you are very hard to define?
And in some ways, yes, and in some ways, no. I don't care when we play live. We fit into most shows, and people come up constantly and say, oh, I don't really like your style of music usually, but I really like you guys. And the number of people who say it in that exact tone of voice as well is uncountable. And it's just really nice because you just go, it's because we're not really what you call that style of music. We've got so much going on, and that's great. But then when you try to promote something like this, it's impossible. Like you approach varying playlists, Spotify, and you approach all sorts of things, and you say, listen to this stuff, and they go, oh, it's not really the genre, because playlists on Spotify are this genre or this genre. And because we don't fit neatly into any of them, we just don't get playlisted. It's impossible to get that extra revenue. We do get the odd playlist pick up a song and here and there, but it's because the playlist curators are running to what seems like them a business. If they put in a song that isn't in line with what the expectations are, then they'll lose subscribers. And that's, for them, criminal. And so trying to get yourself onto something that can help promote your music for you on the platform that is the most important, which is Spotify these days, unfortunately, you need your followers. It's just so difficult. And so I love it and I hate it. It's difficult to describe who we are, and so it's difficult to promote us to the people who would like us until we play live, and then we get the fans rolling in. It's like, oh my god, it's like, I like it, I don't know why. Great. Follow us, do all the things that you need to do, but otherwise it does become tiresome when you can't be typecast as easily. I think that's my answer.
It is so true, though. That is, live will fit in anywhere. Any sort of scene. We played all sorts of places.
We played an acoustic night once, didn't we? We got invited. We didn't just trundle up on this like open mic night and say, hold on a sec, let me get my drum kit. It was in Bristol, and there was the three quietest acoustic acts I've ever heard. And I run an acoustic night in my local town on a Monday. I've heard hundreds of acoustic acts. So when I say they're still the three quietest acoustic acts I've ever heard, it's saying something. And then we turn up and just finish off the night. It was nuts, but everyone liked it. It was surreal. I don't think you that was before your time, wasn't it, Jay?
Yeah, that was.
That was. But yeah, like we literally fit in almost anywhere.
That in itself is a fantastic thing, as you say. But you came my way under the description of funk, and that was an intriguing one. But I don't even bother trying to define it. So
no, well, the bass lines are very funk centric. We get a bit of slap in there, but then not much else. Some of the drums are hip hop, generally speaking, based. The guitars are what the guitars are. And then Matt, it's got so many different genres. It's so hard, but
just go listen to it yourselves, folks, and make up your own mind if you like it or you don't. Right. It is July. We're coming to the end of it. The year's not done yet. What plans do you have in the work for the remainder of the year that you can talk about?
That's a tough one. Mainly because Matt and his wife are having a child very shortly. So, which is why the beginning of our year was so jam-packed full of tour in Europe and gigging around the UK and getting this EP released for all of those gigs. So, I mean, Matt is a funny one. Matt and Fran are quite good. Fran's never one to get in Matt's way of doing gigs and things, which is really good, actually, because some people could be. So she is a massive supporter of the band.
She did all
I suspect after the first couple of months, we can hopefully start gigging, but we're not booking things in quite yet because you just don't know, do you? So
Of course.
we really want to get some more gigs in later on in the year, and I'm sure we will. And all you'll need to do is keep your eyes open for when we're doing it. But just because it's all a little bit out there in terms of what we can and can't do, we haven't quite got them solidified yet. But we're definitely going to be gigging at some point, I'm sure.
We have one show booked so far in December in Nottingham.
Oh, we do? Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we'll be gigging again before then.
Yeah, it should be more before then, but we have to wait and see.
You've still got one already lined up. That's good enough. And congratulations, of course, to Matt and Fran on their upcoming birth of their child. Right. Fellas, we are been going over 40 minutes, so this is entirely up to you if you want to do this segment. We normally end every interview with this, and this is Ozzy Osbourne, and it holds a random selection of questions that can be the dumbest, smartest, deepest, most shallow things possible. We normally choose a... Yeah?
Do it.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Right. Let's try and keep it snappy because I don't want to keep it too much longer. And we'll go around the room.
Only one of us will answer anything. Just pipe up with your answer if you got one. How about that?
You want to do it that way, yeah? All right,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
All right, so here we go. I'm going to start with this one. Number 41. Late nights or early mornings? What kind of person are you?
Late nights, 100%.
How late? How late is late?
3 o'clock in the morning on a school night.
All right, okay.
Right, number 33. What's more interesting to you, deep space or deep sea?
Deep space. I'm a physicist. I studied it at university. I've got a degree in it, astrophysics. So there we are, easy.
Nerd.
Incredible. All right, that's absolutely 82. What video game defined your childhood?
Duke Nukem.
Oh, yes, excellent.
I'm taking gas and chew bubble gum.
I'm all out of gum.
I was going to go for Paperboy myself, personally.
Oh, I mean, that's a classic, but that just shows your age as well.
Yeah, I was about to say that shows an age thing.
It does.
Okay, 66. Ooh, who is the greatest vocalist ever?
Chris Cornell.
There it is.
That is true.
Yeah.
I'm not going to argue with that. Yeah.
How can you? How can you?
No, you can't. No.
Number 3. Have you ever experienced something unexplainable?
Tom's brain.
Every day.
The key is behind.
Sorry? Oh my God, yeah. Matt's, yeah.
Posterior is
why does Matt smell so bad?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, right, all right, okay.
It's got personal now, but you didn't go on tour with him, so.
Number 7. What would the name of your wrestling finishing move be?
The ultimate slap.
Explain.
The ultimate slap.
Slap with a thumb.
The slap with a thumb.
Oh my, I like this. I like
slap
this.
with a thumb. Yeah.
Mine would be Angry Cowboy.
And what does that entail?
I'm not going to say what it is, but you can Urban Dictionary it, and I'm not going to say as far as I'm going to go there.
I remember this conversation.
Not that style of wrestling, I don't think, Jay. I think this is the style of wrestling that where you wear clothes.
Okay, I will look into that after this. If I feel it's appropriate enough, I will put it up in the bottom in text. If it's appropriate enough.
I doubt it is.
All right, number 40. What is a memory that always makes you smile?
Watching Andy fall off his scooter.
Oh, cruel.
I fell off a stage as well, by the way.
Oh, my word.
Yeah.
We'll come back around to that.
Question. Yeah.
Us wearing morph suits.
Yeah?
Oh, God. Yeah, that was hilarious.
That's before my time.
All right, one more, gents, one more. And what is your favorite dinosaur? Did say someone be stupid?
Megasaurus.
Oh.
Outrageous.
I'll just have to probably go for the classic T-Rex. I grew up in the Jurassic Park era. He's a superstar.
Yeah.
Or she. They're superstars. Yeah. Can't beat them.
Yeah,
because they're so big.
I'm gonna have to go with the Raptor. It's always worked.
Yeah. Fair dues.
Yeah. If you did, as you say, grew up in that era, those are particularly iconic. The Final Clause of Tacitus, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. The Oxygen is Killing You. It is out now. You might be Undefinable, but go check out that record and make up your own mind about you guys. Hopefully, you'll get some gigs at the end of the year. If not, you've got December and Nottingham already set up, and whatever else comes, stick to your socials to find out. Guys, once again, thank you so much for taking the time to do this.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks for having us. Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you very much for watching. If you liked what you saw, please help us out by giving us a thumbs up and hitting that subscribe button. If you really liked what you saw, consider donating to keep the website and channel running by buying us a coffee via our coffee page or picking up some merch from our Big Cartel store. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as via our social media, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, as well as listen to our interviews via SoundCloud, Apple Music and Spotify. Just search for GBHBL. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?